Furthest I've been to is probably Letchworth, which isn't a long way, but it was just different. I don't think I would go back there again. It's like going to an away football ground. It's not the same as being at home.
Well, I guess my second regular club was Clapham, so I'd have travelled from Potter's Bar to Clapham and come back on the last train.
I haven't travelled very far actually. I tried a couple of clubs before I started just coming to this one, but I think I'm equipped now to be able to travel with it. So I haven't travelled very far. I think I've found utopia in the club that I go to, so I don't really feel the need. However, I've met people who've travelled far and wide with it and gone on salsa holidays, etc. That's a possibility, but I just like to be equipped with the ability, and I just enjoy it. So it's remarkable actually when I'm out and about how many people I meet that actually dance salsa. So yeah, it's like meeting people who speak the same language.
I've been to Hemel, St Albans, Cheshunt, and done classes there too. It's always good to do other classes because you always pick up some sort of tips. You never stop learning.
Funny enough, I've just started going to Letchworth, which is about, I think about 45 miles. It's on once a month and it's called Spirelli's. And the thing what I like about this place is that it's massive, really, really big, got a fantastic dance floor, the music's really good, and there's tons of girls.
I haven't travelled very far to go to salsa because I get lost going up the roads. I think Hemel Hempstead. And I got lost going to Hemel Hempstead.
Other than travelling sort of from north to south London, we were on holiday in Italy last year and we went to a few salsa clubs there. That's not to say we travelled 1,000 miles specifically to go and do salsa in Italy, but we were there and we sort of looked up a club. And the good thing about those clubs were that they were nearly all open air. So a lot of the times you were dancing near a swimming pool or around the swimming pool or in a club that was sort of dressed to make it look like it was a tropical location. So it was really good fun and a great atmosphere.
I haven't really had the opportunity to travel that far because there's some really good clubs locally, and so I don't feel that I need to go that far.
The furthest I've ever travelled was very early on. I went to a salsa class in central London. I think it was Bar Salsa. So coming from far north London, I guess that was kind of quite a long way. The class itself wasn't that constructive, to be honest, and I think we all are looking for instructors that we sort of connect with that suit our own personality and style. But what was good about going there was that it was way out of my comfort zone at that time, and I had to kind of rock up into a crowded club and be prepared to make a fool of myself, which I did absolutely, in a very spectacular and obvious way. But doing that kind of got rid of some self-consciousness and meant that my salsa could only get better in the future. I think getting rid of any self-consciousness about getting moves wrong or whatever is actually really important to enjoying the spirit of salsa.
Well, it wasn't a club, but it was like a salsa weekend. Myself and about 8 other friends went on more than one occasion to a salsa weekend in the northeast of London. Well, not London, but in Lowestoft area. And we've had great times there.
Well, I live pretty central, but I suppose the furthest I've ever been is to Southgate. Or to Barnet, to Calm Salsa. I'm normally going to town.
5,500 miles, Bangalore in India. And what was so good about it? I had as much fun in Bangalore in India as I'd had in London. Absolutely amazing that something you can learn in the UK, you can pick up and go to another continent and do just as well, and the etiquette still applies, and it's still a lot of fun. Extraordinary.
So I enjoy dancing and I enjoy music, and I actually, by accident, went to a salsa club and I was just astounded at how good the dancers were at this club. So much so that I couldn't even bring myself to dance it, and I resolved to learn it at some point, and then I determined this year that that's what I would do.
Got into it with a friend. We just fancied dancing.
I got into it through a friend who took me to salsa, said it was good fun, lots of people. And to be honest, the first few times I went, I didn't really enjoy it because I couldn't do it. And then the bug got hold after a couple of months. How does it affect my life now? I don't think I could live without it. Yeah, I couldn't live without it.
I got into salsa dancing because we had salsa classes at the community centre where I work. And it affects my life now in the way it gives me more opportunity to socialise and to meet new people and to exercise as well.
I got into salsa dancing because at the time, about, like I said, mid-90s, I was into the rave scene, and I was getting a bit fed up with the rave scene, the same old thing, you know, drugs there and all that. And I just felt that I needed to change. So around that time, my brother, Stephen, he decided he wanted to do salsa. So we both started it at the same time.
How does it affect your life now?
How does it affect my life now?
Stop it, or?
It's a great, fantastic hobby. I always look forward to it. It's probably the best dance I've done in my life. It's just really positive.
Got into it because we went out for a girl's birthday to Floriditas in, was it Wardour Street? And said, why don't you come along? Didn't really like it the first couple of times, but then just kept going to see the girls. And like I said before, it's a bit of an addiction now.
How does it affect my life now? Well, I think it's kind of integral. You know, it's something I look forward to doing in the week. I'd like to do more of, and in part it's about the learning. And I have some real empathy with the way I'm being taught at this club. Carl's fantastic, Heather's great as well in terms of their credentials, and it really comes through in the way they teach. People have been coming regularly, and those credentials really, I trained in martial arts as has Carl, and there are some similarities or parallels, certainly in terms of the movement and the way things are conveyed, so you really get to understand why you're doing particular movements or how to instigate a particular part of a routine. Yeah, so it makes the dance so much more articulate, I think.
Okay, I got into salsa about 2 years ago, and to be really honest, I got into it for the girls because I had a sneaking suspicion, and some friends had told me that there were some smoking hot girls at salsa. So I thought, what the hell am I doing not going there? It's crazy, crazy, crazy. So originally I got into it for that, but quickly became friends with a lot of people in the salsa community, and that's a whole other enjoyable side of it. Really enjoyed the expressive, fun side of salsa, meeting new girls, meeting new guys, people, or whatever. Salsa is very, very social, and I think the thing about salsa is because it comes out of that whole Latin, Latino world, it's so much more alive with kind of passion and fun and energy. It's very different to our normal kind of boring white 9-to-5 lives, and personally I really love that.
Okay, I'm going to say it because I know this question's coming up, but I like the feeling of everybody's kind of there for the same reason and it's kind of happy. And I really look forward to going to my club because I know everyone's going to be up for a dance and I love to dance.
Well, way back when I first started salsa, a friend of mine told me that he heard that there was a salsa venue in Oakwood, and maybe we ought to try it. And I did go to Oakwood, and this is where I first got involved with salsa. I was smitten by the whole thing because it had the kind of rhythm that I understood and liked, and I took it from there.
First got into salsa because just curious, because my wife had been doing it for a couple of years, and I was playing football with my mates, so salsa was for gays as far as we were concerned. But when we started going to have a look at our wives dancing, we realised there was more to it than that, and we kind of spurred each other on. We both secretly wanted to try it, and we did in the end. Basically gave up the football because that was hurting too much, and salsa took over.
I was dragged along to salsa dancing, and one of the things I've noticed, if I don't do salsa regularly, I put on about 4 or 5 pounds. It certainly is an aerobic exercise, because I don't like sitting down. It's not a social thing for me. I like to dance all evening, preferably. Don't like to get off the floor. It does help you lose weight.
I got into salsa because I wanted to keep fit. I couldn't think of anything else that I could do that I'd really enjoy. I thought there's lots of other things you can do to keep fit, but they're all, particularly at gym, pretty boring. So I got into it because I thought that it would be a good thing to do to keep fit. I like great music. I'm a bit of an owl, so I like doing stuff in the evening at night time. And so you bring those three things together. That's one of the reasons I ended up doing it. And it was one of those things that I think I'd always wanted to do and should have done a lot earlier.
It's fun, it's enjoyable, you meet lots of people, and it's a fantastic community.
Well, I still socialize. It does play an important part in my social life, and I would continue to do that, I think.
How does it affect my life now? It's kind of, it's my Friday night out now. Don't go religiously every Friday, but most Fridays I do, and I just really enjoy it.
I think it affects my life in the sense that, well, I'm pretty fit now. There's not too many things I can't do. In fact, there's nothing I can't do now. Great circle of friends. Great calendar. And it's something I look forward to greatly. It's a challenge. It never gets too easy or even easy. It's always quite hard and challenging. So yeah, it's fun.
It's really mixed. It's nice where you go somewhere and there's so many different types of people and different ages, different ethnicities. So I like that about it. It's so diverse.
It's a very friendly community.
I think everybody's on an equal playing field. It's mixed. You get people from all sorts of lives, all cultures. Everybody interacts, reacts together. And I think everybody's there for the same reason, to have a very good, enjoyable social evening. For me, meeting other people.
Well, when you go regularly, and if you're an older person as I am, and you go to lessons, people, you get to know people, and you get to know your partners, and you always get dances, always get dances.
Salsa community, how can I describe that? When you're in a salsa club, it's like being in a little cocoon. You might see the same people week in, week out, but you never really get to know them that well, or their background, unless you strike up a particularly close friendship with somebody. But in a salsa club, you get people from all sorts of backgrounds, and they might be employed or unemployed, they might be single, they might be with a partner, married with kids. It doesn't really matter, and you don't really get to know that side of people, and you don't need to, because you're there to enjoy the music and dance, and you don't really get a lot of time to talk either.
Community salsa is really warm, lots of different races, lots of different backgrounds, but everyone gets on, everyone's friendly. It's like one big family, and there's no airs and graces. It's great.
Okay, the community of salsa, it's kind of it's an interesting one, and I think it kind of, to some degree, copies society. You have people of varying degrees of ability and skill level in salsa, beginners, intermediate, advanced, and so on. But on the whole, I have to say the salsa community is very friendly, very supportive of new people coming into it, learning, getting the steps wrong, and so on. I find that community, and I've made many great friendships through salsa, which was kind of an unexpected bonus, but very enjoyable nonetheless.
Man, I mean, it's bonkers. It's just the most. I think salsa is one of those things that encourages people to let their hair down and to do all of the kind of stuff that they perhaps dreamed of doing and can now do. It's really warm, it's exciting, it's a bit quirky at times. The sense of camaraderie is massive. And the etiquette, the fact that men ask women to dance, women ask men to dance, and that you never refuse. Those two bits of etiquette are, I think, profoundly push it into a different space when it comes to interacting with other people. You know, you will always see a friendly face, and you will always have fun.